John is a restaurant owner, and he was renowned for his fresh rabbit dishes. But on this one day, his supplier suddenly vanished without any trace, leaving no answers to calls or even messages. And desperately, John decided to drive to the farm himself to have a check for what happened. As he arrived at the farm, he noticed an abundance of rabbits hopping around energetically. But when he ventured inside, the place was eerily desert, and there were also two unsettling details confused him. First, there wasn't a single person in this big farm. Second, all the rabbits' eyes glowed in a menacing red as they followed his every move. Assuming these animals were just being friendly, he reached out to pet one. Just then, a rabbit stretched its neck, sniffed his arm, and twitched its mouth. John found this move was cute until the rabbit suddenly opened its mouth, revealing sharp teeth and bite into his arm, refusing to let go. No matter how hard he struggled, the rabbit wouldn't let go, and in the end, even teared off a piece of his flesh. All the rabbits then started to attack him, biting relentlessly. John terrifiedly fled the farm and locked the gate behind him. He circled the farm, hoping to find someone that he can talk to. But instead, he encountered something horrifying. He saw a creature with a human body and a rabbit's head staring at him. Startled, he asked who it was, but the creature didn't respond, only gestured him to come closer. But he was definitely not that stupid. Sensing the danger, so John backed away. But he then tripped over something and scraping his knees. And when he picked up the object he tripped over, he immediately threw it far away in a big horror, because it was the bone of a human thigh. What's more terrifying was he then saw human bones scattered everywhere. He screamed, raced to the police station to report about what he had seen. After listening about what happened, policemen advised him to stay home and await for further instructions. 2 months later, the police informed John that this case was solved. Turns out, the previous owners of this farm were a couple who raised rabbits for a living. As the business grew, they decided to have children, but sadly found out that they were both infertile. So they signed up for adoption and adopted a boy named Ryan, who was shy and a little bit slow-witted, but very obedient. Shortly after, this couple miraculously conceived their own child, and with their own child, they began to abuse and neglect Ryan, and eventually leaving him to work at the farm. But it didn't change Ryan's miserable destiny, because the farm workers were very twisted individuals, and even with pedophilic tendencies. They abused Ryan more brutal than his adopted parents, traumatized him, and forcing him to kill rabbits in very extreme and horrific ways. In the workers' house, police found a USB drive containing videos of them sexually assaulting and murdering Ryan. And finally, to dispose his body, they made it into rabbit feed and fed them. But the true horror actually began afterwards. From that day on, all the rabbits at the farm started to eerily stare at the workers with their red eyes, attacking whenever they let their guard down, and eventually, both workers and rabbits vanished without a trace, leaving an empty farm. The police found no rabbits at the scene, which left John in big shock, because he had been attacked. There were still scars and bandage on his arm. And driven by the curiosity, John returned to the farm that very afternoon. The farm was eerily quiet, sealed off with police tape. But he was like compelled by an unseen force. He then tore off the tape and opened the gate. Then, a sudden gust of wind made him glance back, catching a glimpse of a human-like shadow, but with long ears like rabbit. Suddenly, a door slammed shut in a nearby building. Trembling, John approached and hesitantly pushed the door open. Inside, it was pitch black, but he heard a rustling sound came from the corner. Shining his flashlight, he barely had time to react before a dark figure launched at him. He quickly stumbled back, watching as the figure fled overhead. This time, he saw it clearly. It was a humanoid creature with a rabbit's head. Didn't know what he was thinking at the time, John traced this creature and stopping at a shipping container from which strange sounds emanated. He opened it and found it filled with rabbits. And just at this moment, a strange pain suddenly shot through his wrist, followed by a deafening screech. All the rabbits felt silence as the rabbit-headed humanoid approached him, sniffing and glaring with his blood-red eyes. With another screech, all the rabbits began to attack him, tearing at his flesh. So, as John finally collapsed, he saw the creature remove its mask, revealing a man with a disfigured face and 3 looped lips, literally just as rabbits. And then the man grinned wickedly, sealing John's fate in a gruesome smile. Okay, so this is the end of the story, The Rabbit Myth. Finally, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like my channel and my videos, and I will see you next time. Bye!